two-parter. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ari Shaffir's Skeptic Tank. I'm Ari Shaffir. On today's episode, I interview and talk to my friend with the most Asian name of anyone I know, Yoshi Obayashi. That's Asian as fuck. Yoshi works in the porn industry. He's an editor. Yep, it's not all sucking and fucking, you guys. There's also a lot of logistical stuff. He has been an editor, or was an editor, for Evil Angel, I believe, for almost a decade. And he saw some dirty stuff. And some dark stuff. This is a two-parter, because Yoshi had to leave. He was going on like 2 hours of sleep. He had to leave and come back, and we had to finish it off. So I'll get to the second part on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. But it's juicy. The second part gets juicier. If you have, I'm just going to give you a warning. If you have a level of empathy for the human condition that makes you uncomfortable with victimization, you shouldn't listen to this podcast. Maybe listen to the first part. Don't listen to the second part. But if you're like me and you can compartmentalize, then listen away. You're going to get some fun at some dark stuff. Let me real quick tell you about some sponsors. Actually, before the sponsors, I mentioned last week on my podcast, on the Sarah Tiana episode, I believe anything that goes over 2 days for me, marijuana has just destroyed. It looks like, you ever see those cities in Afghanistan that have just been like bombed left and right? There's rubble. There's little like sort of freestanding buildings, but you only see like a front wall, maybe like a no front, and just a door, or just pretty much rubble. That's what marijuana has done to my brain. There's remnants of memories, but it's been pretty bombed up by NATO. So anyway, on I think last week's episode with Sarah Tiana, I went over some podcasts that I think you guys would like if you're into podcasts. I don't really listen to podcasts. I'm more of a music guy. I just put my headphones on the airplane and pretend like I'm sleeping and hope the stewardesses don't ask me to take them out before we take off. Is that really a rule, by the way? Do you really need to take your goddamn headphones out? Is it going to mess up the plane? Maybe. Does it get in the way of the fucking contraptions? It could be, but not if it's on airplane mode, right? And whatever. If anybody knows, please write me. contact@arithegreat.com. But I will say this. I went over a bunch of podcasts that I thought were worth listening to, just by the people I knew, their comedic prowess, and from what I've heard. And I left out one of my favorites, the Big Three podcast. I was on it a couple weeks ago. The Big Three podcast, if you don't know, it's starring Don Barris, Simply Don1 on Twitter, Mole, and Scary Perry. It is all the stars of Windy City Heat. If you've never gone and watched Windy City Heat, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. If you're anything like me, if you're into the stuff I'm into, if you're into Jackass, if you're into fucking real, just real out there, I'm trying to describe it without ruining anything. Just fucking get it. Go to Amazon and get it. It's on Amazon now. And that brings me to my sponsor, actually. If you go to arithegreat.com and you click on the Amazon banner on the right and do all your shopping on Amazon through there, they give me cash back. So if you go to Amazon.com and download Windy City, not download. First of all, if you have an option to download it, fucking always do that. Save yourself some cash. But if you don't, go to Amazon.com through my website, click on it, and they give me cash back. So if it costs you I think this is $11.95 on Amazon, I will get like 70 cents. They'll give me like 70 cents if you get Windy City Heat. It doesn't tack on to your cost. It just comes out of their end. And then I had a listener who said that if you guys bookmark my page, like go to arithegreat.com, bookmark it, and then save it as Amazon. That way, whenever you go to Amazon, you'll just go through my page and you won't forget, because I forget to even shop through myself for Amazon. All right, we're already at 4 minutes and I haven't even started anything yet. So that's one sponsor. The next sponsor is Gamefly.com. If you go to Gamefly.com/Ari, sign up for a free 15-day trial, they will give me cash money in my pocket. There's also a link for it on my website, too. And on my website, you can find merch. You can find extra details, features like videos from the guests, stand-up videos, and also the music and their Twitter links and their websites. all on my website. I do that. I probably spend way too much time doing that. But I feel like I got a couple things recently that made me feel really good. This is why I do it. Because somebody in D.C. said they went to see Kyle Kinane because they saw him on my podcast or heard him on my podcast. And somebody else in Denver said they went to see Nick Thune because they heard him on my podcast. That makes me feel really good. That's sort of the reason I do all this extra work to promote the guests, is because I want you guys to find out who these people are. Some of them I just know, and I know their story. I don't know their stand-up that well, or they're newer. But most of them are real solid stand-ups, and I'd really like to introduce you guys to them. So if almost anyone, if you've seen them or heard of them on my podcast and see them in your town, fucking go watch them. First of all, it's definitely going to be better than TV. It's definitely going to be better than TV. Whatever you're going to watch at home from 8 to 9:30, it's definitely going to be better than that, no matter who it is. Anyway, so I guess I wanted to share that. That's why I do all that stuff on my website, arithegreat.com, and go to and get extra features. Also, big news, my album is coming out. I guess I should say this, like, I should make more of a thing about it. But my album is coming out, you guys. It's called Revenge for the Holocaust, and it'll be out September 18th. I believe. I've got the first edit. It sounds pretty good. There was one, like, glaring, like, edit problem in there, but I believe it's going to be out September 18th on iTunes. You could probably pre-order starting, like, September 4th. Is that 14 days ahead of time? Yeah, 2 weeks ahead of time you can pre-order. I'm really excited about it. It sounds good. I've also got a completely new hour now, so if you download it and get it, you can still watch me live. And speaking of live, let's get to my live dates. I just heard Pete Holmes' podcast. Somebody told me he does a really good intro stuff. So even though this one's long already, 7 minutes, I'm going to take a page from his book and do this the way he does it. September 12th through the 15th, I'll be at Cap City Comedy Club. Really excited. First time headlining Cap City in Austin, and I'm really excited about it. September 20th through the 25th, I will be in Toronto at Just for Laughs 42 in all sorts of different places. Go to justforlaughs.com or hahaha.com. I forgot the website. October 4th, 5th, and 6th, I will be at Vent Comedy Club with Dan Madonia and possibly Pete Cornacchione. Hopefully he goes. It should be a fun weekend. Corpus Christi. That's crazy. Then October 19th, 20th, and 21st, my triumphant return to the DC Improv. My first club that I ever featured and emceed at. I'm really excited. 19th, 20th, and 21st, back home. Then October 25th, 26th, 27th, I will be in Portland in Helium. November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, I'll be at Yuck Yucks in Calgary in Canada. November 8th, House of Blues in Chicago, myself and Joey Diaz. Tickets go on sale September 14th. That's probably the same day my album will go on pre-sale. November 8th, though, we got a new poster. It's going to fucking be great. November 28th through December 2nd, House of Comedy in Minneapolis. And I think that's going to be it for the rest of the year. I'm still going to add a date in Long Beach at the Long Beach Laugh Factory, probably with Duncan Trussell and Joey Diaz. And if not that, I might add Australia those 3 weeks. I'm trying to work it out with A-Line and Kylie Sparrow right now, but we'll see. So that's my dates. Please go to arithegreat.com, go to dates. They all should be on there. Oh, fuck. I forgot Indianapolis. How did I forget Indianapolis? That's in September, right? Oh, yeah. October 26th. It's straight from Montreal. That's what it is. It's straight from Toronto. October 27th. No, 26th through the 29th. Crackers in Indianapolis. Also, all my stuff on my website. Go there. And then a last piece of business, you guys. This is for my listeners. If you guys, I got suggested this by Duncan Trussell and by my new manager. If you guys have any clips on these podcasts that you like particularly, you know this. You've heard this podcast enough to know that I am at my limit in terms of how much work I can do. I am a very, very lazy person who has somehow overcome that in order to release this once a week on Mondays. Every Monday, I might add, without fail, since I went off on my own. I don't know how I've done that. It's way beyond my means. But something somebody told me to do, which I will not be able to do, is take 30-second to 3-minute clips of this podcast and make YouTube clips out of them. So if you guys, the listeners, would like to do that, I'm not asking you to, but if you'd like to, make a good clip, find a good 2-minute clip. I figure you guys know better than me what's interesting. If you're interested by something, then it's interesting. So make a clip if you want to set it to fucking, I don't know, not that douchey music. I hate that douchey music so much. That fucking house music or light techno. I don't know the name of it. I don't know those genres. But that's so fucking douchey to have rants with that music behind it. It's just douchey. Don't do that. If you're going to make music behind it, fucking make a cool song. And then let me know, and I will put it on my YouTube page. If you want to make just the background, that what's the word? God damn pot. That picture that I use for Skeptic Tank, that's not even the right word, but the picture that's Skeptic Tank, if you want to use that as a background, that's fine. If you want to, I don't know, whatever. You guys are really creative. Use your minds. But any sort of clip that sounds good, give it to me, and I'll put it on my YouTube page if you guys like it. Even if you want, by the way, at the end to put a little tag, like a 2-second tag of who you are, who made it, that's great too. I don't mind. I love giving credit. So now that we're done with all that, on with the episode. And by the way, for my album, I'll probably, almost definitely, be giving away one track. So if you're poor, or if you're like, I don't know about him, you can have a track. I'll be giving it away on my website, arithegreat.com. The only reason I push it so much is so you guys see my dates and go come see me live. So please, if you're in any of those cities I mentioned, please come see me. Do your part. That's more than giving me money. Do your part for that. So here we are with Yoshi Obayashi. Did I just pause over that? I didn't ruin this whole fucking introduction, did I? How long has I paused for? I hope I just pushed it once and then restarted. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, episode, what are we up to? Pocket 74. Episode 74. P-O-R-N, porn. With Yoshi Obayashi. Enjoy. All right, we're on.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. Do you need time to do anything?
No, I mean...
I keep going back and forth whether I should do intros beforehand or afterwards. I think this one I'm going to wait for a while because you just did a bunch. I'll wait and give you more promotion that way.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Wait 4 or 5 weeks. So if I did introduction before, I'd have to say all my dates and stuff, but this one I'll just wait. And so in the intro, I'll say your name and shit.
This is, by the way, day after the Hiroshima Day. I don't know if that really matters, but...
And no one here noticed.
Yeah.
No one in America noticed at all. At all.
We're 2 days away from Nagasaki Day, so...
Oh, really? Now explain to me this. After Hiroshima, did the Japanese try to, surrender? And they were like, nah, we already got plans for Nagasaki, too.
The problem was... Asian people, especially Japanese, is very consensus-oriented.
Yeah.
So everybody couldn't agree on term of surrender.
In enough time.
Right. But you would think if somebody fucking nuke you, you just fucking quit.
3 days later, they went for another nuke?
Yeah.
3 days. They didn't give it 2 weeks or 2 months on. It's boom, right away.
Yeah.
And after the second one, they're like, all right.
And I think we dropped 2 because we only had 2 at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
You say we, even though you have a Chinese accent. Well, you hate Japan, right?
No. I don't hate it, but
don't a lot of Chinese people hate Japan?
And Koreans. I'm ethnic Korean, but I was born and raised in Japan.
You're Korean?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you were Chinese.
Because I'm really freakishly tall.
Oh yeah, Chinese are taller than Japanese, right?
It just seemed like Koreans and Chinese seem to be taller. I mean, Yao Ming, 7 foot something.
And what is he? Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting story. There was a guy named, I can't remember the guy's first name, Mr. Yamaguchi. He was visiting Hiroshima for work on August 6, 1945.
Yeah.
He was working. He got nuked.
Yeah.
Survives. He panicked. He want to get the fuck out of there. So he go home, hometown of Nagasaki.
Oh.
He get nuked the second time. He survives.
How do you survive a nuclear weapon?
There's probably about maybe 15 to 20 of them were, but he's done.
Wait, how do you survive? It just radiates your skin. Are you immune to it? What do you mean survive?
I don't think he was right on the center of it,
Right.
But he still was within the range of radiation. But a couple of my white
Did he
friends
get cancer and die eventually?
He died 2 years ago at 90-some years old.
Wow, with all that radiation.
So one of my friends was saying,
Yeah.
wow, he's really lucky he survived. You're not fucking lucky if you get nuked twice.
I've been nuked at none.
It's like a girl almost got raped twice. She didn't. I'm like, stop going down the fucking dark alley. It's not lucky.
There was some girl who was saying, this is tough to say because it's going to seem really non-caring on my part. But there was this girl that used to hang out there, still does actually, and she had said she had been raped at the Comedy Store. And then
no surprise there.
And then she said, and people gave her like, "Oh my God, I can't believe."
Yeah.
Then she said she got raped again.
Yeah.
By a different person.
Right.
And then she said she got raped again by a third person.
Right.
And this isn't like, oh, it was all the same night. I'm just revealing more. It was like, oh, it happened again like a month later. And you realize like, oh, you're the problem. You're women's problem. You're claiming rape constantly.
Yeah.
And people who might be like, well, she was raped. First of all, she's not getting raped 3 times at the store. It could happen once. Second of all, if she was raped 3 times, why would she continue to hang out at the place she keeps getting raped at?
Yeah.
There's no reason to keep hanging out at this rape factory. Or the reality is she just made it up for attention and people stopped paying attention to her.
Yeah, there's sometimes, I mean, I don't want to make a light of it, but there's kind of borderline too, you know. It's
Borderline rape?
Well,
Look at this picture that I just got sent of what I did. Is there a cover? Oh.
I don't know. I'm going to come over here and talk about rape, but go ahead.
I got it right back to this guy here. This sent me a picture of her neck after we had sex, and it's all bruised and like red and stuff. But I was like,
oh, wow.
It's not even that bad. But I was like, oh, it's a good thing you didn't die, because yeah, with my handprints all over your neck, it's probably bad news for me.
Oh, this is a girl that you were.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
but she's into rough sex, right?
Yeah, I like to choke once in a while, and she likes it too.
Then that's fine.
Oh yeah, totally fine. But if she's like, oh, I'm not into this anymore, it's like, well, wait. Now, for those last 2.5 seconds where you weren't into it anymore, but before you got the whole sentence out of your mouth,
right?
Is that rape time? Because she technically doesn't want to be doing. My friend had this problem too, where he was Asian, actually, Filipino. Mike Reyes. He said he was having sex with a girl, and she was like, she sobered up in the middle of it. It was college.
Yeah,
you know college. Do you know college? Did you go to college?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I'm Asian, of course.
Yeah, all right. But so he was like, okay, and he stopped because she was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But then he was like, can I just finish?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, okay, hurry up though. But it was like, you're inside, not moving. She's like, stop. If you take one more stroke, is that rape?
Ooh.
That's like there's levels of rape. It's not as bad as grabbing a girl by the hair when she's passing by the old abandoned carousel.
I think that's one of the advantage. Like I get a lot of hookers, you know.
You get a lot of hookers?
Yeah, and I think you don't have to worry about that stuff, you know. That shit.
Who doesn't have to worry about that stuff?
I mean, getting hookers. ADF have a joke about when you rape a hooker, it's like shoplifting or whatever it was. But I think. I don't want to make light of it, but it just seems like
it's tough. You don't want to make light of it, but
you don't want to make a light. You don't want to make a light of it, but it just seems like when I went to college, there was an incident, but it seems like waspy white girls always get in that situation. Like black and Latino girls, they really know handle themselves. They make that shit really clear.
Like we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very white girl thing to do. It's to say, okay, you can come up, but we're not having sex.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay. That means we're definitely having sex, right? But like, who?
I think
when sex on the table and still saying, "Come on up," but we're not doing it. It's like, this is like.
She need to understand the guy's motive, and a lot of times they want to have sex.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Yeah.
So it's like you're putting him up there into a sexual position I'm not saying you deserve it or anything, but it's like,
Of course not.
look, when I go outside, even on Sunset, it's like I put my money in my wallet before I hit the street.
Right.
Not afterwards. I don't let a bunch of people see. And it's not like it'd be my fault if they mugged me, but like, you know,
When you
black
did
girls are better at like, get the fuck out.
Right. When you did those amazing racist things and you drive around bad neighborhood, let's say your car breaks down in a shitty neighborhood.
It's not my fault if I get murdered. But.
No. What I'm saying is, let's say your car breaks down. No disrespect, people from the city of Carson, but let's say it breaks down the city of Carson.
Yeah.
They don't have a right to rob you, but you're still responsible to have common sense.
Yeah, it's like
so if you're a girl
Carson
and you're inviting a guy, it's
right. You can cut down your chances of something happening to you that's not your fault. You can cut those down if you're smarter. Yeah, don't go to Carson. There's no reason to be in Carson if you're white.
Yeah,
unless you're trying.
Unless you're trying to get like, well, what is it? It's more Latino now.
Carson and some Asian too.
A lot of my friends used to go. A lot of my friends used to go Compton and Carson to get black prostitute back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, in the 80s. I graduated from Torrance High.
One of the best things I ever heard about a black prostitute. I've repeated this probably 30 times, but it was Jim Norton telling Steve Simone. Steve was all depressed about his life or whatever, and Norton was like, "Sometimes, Steve, you just got to get pissed on by a black hooker." And it's hilarious, and Steve laughed, and then he goes, "Wait, why did she have to be a black hooker?" And his response was, "Come on, man." Like, you know goddamn well why it has to be a black hooker. If you're getting pissed on, it's about demeaning, and you're going to add race to it.
And when it comes to that stuff, Jim knows. He never jokes, man.
No. Well, he jokes, but it's joking about serious things.
Yeah.
He was like,
he does them.
Jokes based on the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been in America?
32 years.
32 years. Yeah. Wow, you barely have any accent at all.
You know what's funny? My brother's 3 years younger. No accent at all.
None.
How
old were you when you were kidnapped here?
I was.
Were you adopted?
10, 11. My brother's probably 7 or 8. I think that.
How'd you get here?
Well, my mom, I'm from Osaka, Japan, and my mom told us.
Osaka, that's where Karate Kid, when he went back to with Miyagi.
That's Okinawa.
That's Okinawa. Okay.
Osaka is like Detroit, Chicago, Japan. My mom said we were flying from Osaka to Tokyo, and when we woke up next morning, we were in Hawaii. Then she told us my parents were divorced.
That's what your mom did?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she dropped me and my brother in March 13, 1980 in Bremerton, Washington with relatives, and she just took off.
What? Oh, so you were raised by relatives?
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically that was kidnapping, but... and I'm ethnic Korean, so my family in States are Koreans. They speak Korean. I don't speak Korean. They don't speak Japanese.
So how'd you even communicate with them?
We couldn't. We my brother and I, we basically have to learn to communicate to them, in addition to learn the English, and they have a different way of doing things.
So you had
right?
to learn Korean and
I didn't learn Korean, but it's like when you're living with your relatives, every household have different rules. So I have to relearn the rule for that house. Not only that, for a different country,
culture and stuff.
Yeah, in Japan, it's never polite to look at somebody in the eye. Conversation.
Really?
Yeah, it's a sign of insult. But in the States, it's considered shifty, and you're being dishonest
when you don't do it.
Yeah.
They said that once about Russians and how people smile or nice, but it goes, Russia is just a sign of weakness. You just don't do it. You just don't smile.
In South Korea, if you smile too much, that means you're retarded or stupid.
Oh, really?
Or simpleton, yeah.
And here, so you're having fun. It's like, not everywhere. That's hilarious. I love when different cultural signs.
They're different, yeah.
I like when you see a dog and people are like, oh, they love it when you do this. I'm like, do they? How do you know? How do you know? When they're like, well, they lick my lips and stuff. I'm like, that's because there's salt on your lips.
Yes.
I'm like, no, it's affection. Like, no, you want it to be affection. But it's because of the salt. You want it to be affection really badly, but it ain't. They lick your elbow too, right? Is that affection? Or is that just that's where salt builds up too?
Or maybe it's just conditioned for them to do it.
They also lick fucking salt if you give them salt. Maybe. I don't know. So, Yoshi Obayashi, that's your last name?
Yeah, just Yoshi.
Does anybody call you Obayashi? Check this out.
Star
Jewish star on a necklace on my chest. I was applying to be the new Ding Dong Show Big 3 member today. Mole's gone. He's out of the Big 3.
Huh.
So I was applying to be his replacement. Brody Stevens also applied. Some doctor applied, and I applied. All based on I'm a Jew and I can bring you guys money.
Is that a big show at the Comedy Store?
Big Three. It's, you ever see Windy City Heat?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, they do a podcast, the three of them now, all the time.
Oh,
Big
gotcha.
Three podcast. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Don Barris is the one of the guy, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Don Barris, Scary Perry, and Mole.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's pretty great. Well, whatever. Anyway, the first time I met you, you were always, I don't know, how long you been around L.A.?
A little over 9 years now.
9 years. Okay, so it's probably a few years after I started, I guess. But when I came across you, I forgot who it was, but somebody at like Jerry's Deli. No, not Jerry's. Cantor's. We were we got out of the car. We saw you in there. Somebody knew you. Whoever I was with knew you. I think I might have met you once before.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, I remember. I met you once at some like Dana Point gig too. One of those things. But
oh, okay, that I remember.
yeah, I remember that. It might have been that might have been after this though. But and this guy was like, "Hey, Yoshi, how you doing?" It might have been Caparulo. Did you know Caparulo ever?
No, I met him once. I don't know him.
Then it wasn't him. Maybe I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was. It was somebody that's hanging out with that. Maybe Mike Black. And you're like, "Hey, I have something for you." And then you're like, "Come with me to my car." We went to your car and you opened up the trunk and you got him like some DVDs, some burned DVDs. Not actual ones, not with a case, just burned DVDs, and it was porn.
It's check desk, yeah. It's basically one stop before final products. We check if there's any problems. So when I used to work, and back in those days, they were very generous. So I just give it to my friends,
Yeah, and then you were like, "You want one? You want one too?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah." And I didn't understand what it was. Like even DVD, I thought it was a CD-ROM. I remember trying to put it in a computer that wouldn't read DVDs. You could read CDs and that's it. And I kept trying to play. I'm like, this doesn't work with shit. And my friend was like, that's not a CD-ROM. What have you been beating off on? It's just DVD. I could never afford them then. I was like, oh, really? And then I could move it. The TV was in the bedroom then. I could go to use a DVD player in the bedroom and beat off in my actual bed with video, and it changed my life.
I sometimes I forget how things could change so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot 9-10 years ago. DVD players are relatively kind of new back then.
Kind of new.
Yeah.
VHS tapes you had.
Yeah.
I had some VHS porn. But, like, I mean, it's hard to get to spots on that. Skip scenes that you just were like, man, led into the girl. Yeah, and then every time I saw you, you will always have, and everyone was always happy to see you because you always had a porno. I saw you at M-Bar once. You're like, oh, hang on a second. And you're like, he's getting me porn. It was just made everyone happier to see you.
I just thought, maybe the company didn't like that, but I figured a lot of times they were throwing that shit away once. And I figured like...
And it ain't like these poor comics were ever buying it.
Yeah.
Like ever.
So I figured why not help, because I know 90% of comedians, they don't make any money, and then I figure why not, I don't want to be generous with people, And
when you can, when it's nothing, I realize it's about Comedy Store tickets.
Yeah.
Where people are like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to impose. You're like, oh, it doesn't matter at all. It's free for me. I'll just give you a ticket. I'll put your name on the list.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter to me in any way. But they still appreciate it. To them, it's a $20 value per ticket. And I'm like, oh, I don't think of it that way because I'm there 5 nights a week.
Right.
Just hanging out. That reminds me, I got to write this guy back and tell him there's no cover charge. God, I love those bruises on that neck. Man, I like choking. Sorry. This is really bad radio. Hold on, I'm going to pause this. All right, I sent it. So yeah, it was great. It got me from still. I would beat off to still pictures. Like remember those galleries?
Oh yeah,
of pictures online, and you would like tell stories. There's a bunch of different they would just fuck and they just shoot pictures the whole time.
It's amazing how much things have changed in the business.
It's crazy, and that's only been like 10 years.
And they're fucked now.
And why? Because now it's all free.
Internet. Yeah, I mean the demand for porn hasn't dropped, but people are not willing to pay for it. I mean, it's the same
thing. The
thing.
new standard is pay for porn. Back then it was like I can't afford it, but now it's like who would pay for that?
I think the people who pay you tend to be older people who are afraid of technology, and one of the advantages of buying DVDs in theory is you don't want to go to a website with underage kids. you buy DVDs, at least the company guarantees that they did all the paperwork and they're 18 years and older. So
yeah, nobody really does anybody care about that? Oh, I don't want to. I'm afraid of being off to a 17-year-old.
Well, funny you said that because you know,
barely legal now is like 23-year-olds. And you're like, come on, man.
Well, I know you know Brody Stevens, and I think you knew Brody's close friend Tana Manu, the comedian, right? Okay,
Yeah.
So a year and a half ago, Tana started back doing.
Tana doing porn?
He did a little while ago. He stopped.
Yeah.
So he started doing comedy again, but about a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
he does a lot of construction work, and he was working, and all of a sudden, I don't know, 7 FBI agents and a bunch of cops just came down to his place, right, backyard.
Oh no.
And the whole time he's thinking like, oh, they got me. Because he hasn't paid child support in a long time, right? So he thought they were there for child support, but they throw him on the ground. They had guns everywhere, and like they're screaming, yelling. They got the legal paperwork for search the place, and
A construction site?
his backyard. He built things, and they asked him, "Where's your computer?" And he was confused because he thought it was child support, right? So they go through his computer. They can't find anything. Then they asked, like, "Do you know a guy named?" Charles something, which is Chuck, somebody that we knew. And
Yeah.
so what happened was one of his friends, when he was house sitting in Tana's house with Wi-Fi, he was downloading child porn.
How do you download child porn?
I don't know. I mean,
Like, what happens if I go right now? Let me look here. And just Google child porn.
it probably come up with
I bet it'll come up
things about child
yes,
porn.
yeah, articles about it. Child pornography. Images. Let's go images.
That's just not going to happen. They probably put pictures.
Oh.
See, those are pictures of pedophiles. Yeah.
God. Tanning Peeper pleads guilty to child porn and shows a picture of a screaming child. Oh. Picture of, who's this guy?
John
John
McCain.
McCain.
I don't know.
He's on the first 3 pages. This creepy dude. Child porn network. And here's just a naked baby. That's not child porn, is it? Naked baby with his dick out? Is this child pornography? No. Sexual.
You could get in trouble for that, though.
No way.
I think it was Tennessee.
Ronald Brown, a puppeteer, is now charged with child pornography. And that guy looks like Jonah Ray. You know who Jonah Ray is?
Some grandmother in Tennessee, I think, 5-6 years ago, took very innocent picture of her grandson in Bath.
Yeah.
And then I think she printed him at the local Photoshop. I mean, what is it? Camera shop or whatever. The drugstore to print him.
Yeah.
They called the cops on her.
Really?
And I think the case went back and forth. And
they realized it's her grandmother taking pictures of her naked grandson. It doesn't matter. She's 7.
Once that process starts, you know, either she fight all the way and use all your resources to fight it, or just plead and just drop it. But
Yeah,
I think she ended up pleading guilty and like probation and stuff. So
she had to plead guilty to child porn in order to.
yeah, and she had to register as a sex offender. You know,
child porn.
so
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's tough. I remember this girl got in trouble because she sexted with her.
If you're a 16-year-old girl and you take picture of yourself naked, that's considered as a child porn.
Yeah, and she sent it like all hot. And she sent it to a 16-year-old boyfriend who she was legally allowed to have sex with. And then he sent it to people. And it's like, you guys are all sending child porn out.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just there's no slave work involved. But like, you're in the bad zone.
That's why they will come after you.
I think they charge that girl with taking pictures of herself.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. Where it's like, if you're going to have rules, have rules. You know? The grandmother I don't like because there was no intention of that. But like, that little girl was taking porn. Like, if I have to have a girl send me naked pictures, that's slight porn. It's not great porn. It's slight porn. But it's porn, but they're of age. However barely it is. But
those I get nervous too, because at least porn, they have a documentation proving they're 18 years old. You never know if some 17-year-old girl pretending to be 20 sending that shit to you.
Wasn't that Jenna Jameson? Wasn't she like 16, 17 when she got real good? Oh, no, not Jenna Jameson. Who was the girl from Melrose Place?
Are you talking about Tracy Lord?
Yeah, wasn't she like 16, 17 when she started? And when people found out, they're like,
absolutely.
Fuck, but she's too big a commodity.
There's only one legal one, I Love You, Tracy, and that's the only legal one. But anything else, if you have her movies beside that one,
it's super illegal.
That's child porn.
Hide that shit.
I wouldn't even keep it, man.
You wouldn't keep it? You'd just throw it away.
No.
But man, what if you wanted to watch it once in a while? I heard they were legendary.
She did one called New Wave Hookers, and she was in it. So they have to remake the film. Took her scene out, and I think they put Ginger Lynn back in there.
Back in there?
Well, they cut the Tracy Lord scenes, and they refilmed it with some other girl. Yeah,
and that was Ginger Lynn.
I mean, they will fucking come after you, man. And for the rest of your life, you will register as a sex offender.
All those people that, if you go to the sex offenders apps, a lot of those people are just like, wait, there's no way you can just go to a porn site. Like, how do you find maybe child porn sites? That's where I'll look. Child porn.
You know, traditionally how the pedophile, I think, did it was they would join those nudist colony and those nature pictures, like their whole families are naked and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They would do that?
But that's I mean,
a lot of Asian girls, they pass very easily.
Those ones always make me nervous because Asian people look younger.
Anonymous attacks child porn websites and publishes usernames. Man, I love Anonymous. They're great. They're great. They do whatever they want, and they operate. Anonymous is dead. That turns bad. And they operate by their own rules. They govern each other.
Yeah. And
it's just like, here's what we find acceptable. Here's what we don't. And when they publish all those names of those people against the Pirating Act,
yeah,
or whatever that was, SOPA, Stop SOPA, they would send all these like addresses of these people who worked at NBC and stuff, like executives, home addresses and phone numbers, and like, go ahead and tell them. Those
are one of the three groups you just don't fuck with.
You don't
Animal
fuck
rights
with
people and the hackers. What's the other one? Environmentalists, I guess.
Hackers, they can just fuck you as hard as they want, and you won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, I don't say shit about them.
Yeah, that's like saying a big meathead in Boston walked by you to watch it. You just go, you just quietly move away. You just like, I am powerless against you. Yeah. So anyway, how'd you get into this stuff? How did you start getting these DVDs? How did you start with this stuff? You graduate college.
I graduated from college. And
a nice, promising young Japanese Korean man. What college did you go to?
Evergreen State College up in Olympia, Washington.
Oh, I've totally never heard of that. When I went to school in Olympia, remember that song? Corny Love.
So I graduated. I had a bunch of office jobs, and Brody's friend Tina.
Yeah.
The guy who almost got in trouble for a child porn thing because of his friend. He was working in the porn shop, and one time he told me how much money.
Was working in a porn shop? What does that mean?
Porn shop, adult video stores.
Okay.
And he told me how much money they were making. He showed me the balance sheet, and I couldn't believe how much they were making in the 90s.
Just hand over fist.
Oh, those booths, this is unbelievable.
Booth? What do you mean?
You put quarters and you go inside.
Oh, those things?
They're just a huge moneymaker back in those days.
Wow. I did that once in New York. Why can't I find a goddamn piece of paper to write on? Okay, this is good. In New York, after we did O&A, not O&A, Down and Dirty with Jim Norton, which you should have been on that show, huh? What happened with that?
Well, they had Kevin Shea.
Oh yeah, so that was their Asian. Oh yeah, I remember.
Kevin did a very good job on it.
Yeah, Kevin was great. He's always funny.
I heard a couple of the guys did it. They got caught. Like my friend Jason Rouse, he killed it, which is really funny. It's called Down and Dirty with Jim Norton, and they said it was too dirty. So
well, what they said was the thing is they okayed everybody's act beforehand. What they said is they were going to cut. They planned to cut 2 people. They booked 2 extra people. They're going to show 3 people per episode.
Yeah,
and like a bigger name. The bigger names were Patrice,
Artie Lane,
Bill Burr.
I think so.
One of the bigger names, and Dice. And then other people just did it that were bigger, like Florentine. Did it, But they said they booked. So instead of booking 12 people, they booked 14.
Right.
With the intention of cutting 2.
Right.
So Andy Andrist, right off the bat, you're out. He just had a bad set. And then we were like, oh, who's going to be the other one? And then I put my dick out, so I was like, fuck, I put myself in a bad position. They're going to cut me. But they didn't. And then they ended up cutting 2 other people.
You did great on it. I mean.
Yeah, but I was worried about that dick thing. But I was like, if they need to cut somebody, I can see them reasoning with that. But then Jason Rouse, I remember he taped the first day like me, and they were going to have me come back the next day and retape because of the dick thing. And they were going to have Rouse come back and retape, but he had to leave. He had his flight scheduled for the next day. So
I didn't know that.
Next day. Yeah, and they told him they didn't want him to do this joke about fucking a retarded girl.
Right.
He said, I really like it. And back then, he had a specific set, too.
Yeah.
He had a bunch more of an act now than he has. He's more free now. But they said, we don't like it. And he was like, I really want to do it. They said, okay, you can do it, but you have to make it freestanding, which is like no segues to it. You finish one bit, and then, like, that's why I went to the store. And then pause and start another bit. Like,
right.
So I was having sex with this girl, like this, so you can easily cut it out.
Right.
And at the end of it, he goes, and that's the story of that. Then starts his next bit. It doesn't even, not even like, and that reminds me of the time I was in Montreal. Like nothing like that. Like freestanding, you can easily cut it out. And he did it, and I was watching from the back because he was doing the second show of the first day, I think. And I was watching the back.
And I've seen the clip. He killed it.
Yeah, I like watching from rooms. He destroyed.
Yeah.
When it was the reveal that he was fucking a retarded chick, it was like, oh my God. It's hilarious. People died. It was 1,300 people just dying of laughter. And then, but they said they didn't want, I don't understand why they couldn't just cut it out. They said, we can just cut it.
I mean, what would the HBO worry about? Like retarded people protesting?
Maybe that's what it was, where it's like, we don't want to do this job. I get that. I don't understand it or like it, but I get that people have these weird standards. Like after 9/11, you couldn't make a Bush joke.
Yeah.
I get that people have the standards. I don't agree with them. It's a dumb standard. No retard jokes, but you can make fucking rape jokes.
If you don't like it, just change the channel.
Yeah.
I
heard Jeff Ross say this recently. It's like, why don't we worry more about the guns that are killing people instead of the jokes about those people that are stinging people? The stinging is not a problem. We're not doing anything. Anyway, but they cut him. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, really? And then they cut Louis Katz.
Oh, is that right?
Was he the third person?
I can't remember.
There was like a few people who did like okay sets, and me because the dick. And
did they cut Jacob Siroff?
Oh, that's who it was. It wasn't Louis Katz. It was Jacob Siroff.
Okay. Weird, because all those guys are funny guys, and it's a dirty show. And
they booked a couple extra people so they could make sure to cut people.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty rowdy. Yeah, I like how Jason Rouse was saying for a while, I was like, banned from HBO. I was like, not banned.
Banned.
Just cut. They had to cut two people. Like Andy Andrews wasn't banned. He was just like, dude, we can't air this.
Yeah, I'm working with Rouse in Norway in a couple of weeks.
That'll be really cool.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about Rouse. That Monsters of Comedy tour was 1.5 years ago.
Has it been that long already?
That's not that long. I'm doing fucking like way better now. That would share 3 to a fucking Motel 6 every night, having Rouse shit in toilets. Not shit in toilets. I'm sorry. That would have been awesome. Shit in baths.
He did it in Europe too. I thought he was joking about it, but
he projectile shits.
Yeah.
You ever see The Last Emperor?
Yeah.
You know that scene where he finally realizes that he can't leave the city,
right?
Emperor City. It's like, well, you can't even go out. I was like, what do you mean I can't go out? Like, you never wanted to before. He's like 8.
The Forbidden City. Yeah,
I'll show you. He starts walking out, and the guards stand in front of him. He's like, get out of my way. And that's the one thing they can't let the Last Emperor out. They can't let him out. And but he has full power in there. And then they won't get out of his way, and he just shows him. He takes he had a pet mouse in his pocket, and he takes it and he just chucks it against the wall as hard as he can. It just splatters and like comes down like his bloody carcass of a mouse. Like,
I don't fucking remember that.
Slides down the wall. It's there, and that's what Rouse's shits look like. It clears the bottom of the bathtub, goes to the other wall, and hits it hard against the top. And then slowly comes down.
The smell is what gets me.
The smell, right? When you walk in, you're like, oh my God. It smells like shit. Yeah, but that was 1.5 years ago. What great times that was, though. So you're going to Norway with him for a week. Let's go back. Sorry, I got off topic. Jesus, man.
Yeah.
You need any pot? Want to smoke some pot?
During the podcast?
Yeah, whatever.
Sure.
Do you smoke pot still?
Yes.
Okay. You don't pull over on the side of the road anymore? Oh, that was from an edible, huh? That was from an edible, right? When you stopped with Joey Diaz?
Oh, that story.
Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah. I did a show with Diaz, and he told me I'm gonna get high. I just puffed a couple of pot, and a little bit buzz. I didn't realize at the time when I was eating the banana bread, he put marijuana in there.
He didn't put it in there. It's baked in there.
Oh, baked in
he
there.
Didn't like stuff a marijuana pill into it.
So, I had 5 to 6 of them, and fuck. Halfway through my show.
5 to 6 pieces of that banana bread?
Yeah.
Did he cut it up into bite-sized pieces?
No, I just keep eating. I was hungry.
Like a whole slice?
Yes.
Dude, that was the most powerful stuff I've ever had.
That's why I was in the garage for like 9 hours.
Oh, my God. You ate 5 or 6 pieces of that?
And he would call me every 2 hours and start laughing at me. It's funny now, but
we know by now nothing's bad is going to happen to you, and just like you're going to go through it for a few hours, and it's hilarious. Oh my God, I have a tremendous tolerance. Like mine is really far up there. Half a piece.
I got sick, man.
Half a piece to like, whoa. You got sick to barf?
I didn't throw up, but I think like 8 hour mark, I drove out of there and went to Burger King or something. I order, and I kept driving around the building because I couldn't find the window to pick up the food. I must have done like 4 or 5 times.
I must have laughed at you so much.
No, drugs is not my thing. I'm not against it, but
yeah, I was trying to get into a bus. I was smoking with Kurt Metzger. And I had to go pick up my pot from my old roommate who was in New York. So I was driving. I took the subway down and then a bus across Central Park. And this pot on the subway down, I could smell it in my pocket. I was like, fuck, I can smell it. It was in like a Ziploc bag. And I was really high, so I was paranoid. But then I got in the bus and I was trying to figure out how to put the MTA card into the fucking bus thing.
Right.
Because I know how to do it in the subway, but I don't know. I was like tapping at it and then turning it around, said wrong way, but I had it really over for like a good 40 seconds. And the guy keeps going other way. And he's looking at me and eventually just going, he goes, man, if you weren't so high, this wouldn't be funny. Let me help you. And I was like, what? I was like, you got me, bro. I was just like, let's laugh about it. I was like, that's exactly what's happening right now. And he just laughed. He goes, I know. And it was fun. I don't mind. I don't care if people know. But got some hybrid. Why not? Yeah. All right. This is good. So, sorry. Oh, fuck. Okay. So, he gave you a banana. You ate 5 pieces of that? I gave a quarter-size piece, maybe a $50 size piece, maybe a $50 to this girl. I was trying to get her high. And she didn't want to smoke. And because I wanted to fuck stoned. And she got so...
Well, why is it so much stronger when you eat it? I don't understand that.
The way Rogan says it metabolizes differently in the system.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like injecting heroin versus snorting it.
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
It's like, it's the same shit. It enters you differently.
Because halfway through the show, when I was on stage, my hands start tingling.
Oh, nice.
And my head starts spinning. And...
Oh, you got the spins.
And
sweating a lot?
Yeah, and like light starts shimmering. And
did you think you were
Joey was laughing so hard, it was hurting my ears.
You were on stage?
Yeah, when like halfway.
You could tell you had started?
Yeah, because I smoked weed before, but it's never done that. But halfway through it, like, he was laughing the whole fucking time. Everybody started laughing, not at my jokes, you know.
Just the fact they could all tell? Did you tell them you had eaten the banana, you had gotten high? You didn't know what it was?
No, I didn't even know you could eat marijuana.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was your first edible experience?
Yes.
You got dosed.
He told me, "Are you hungry?" Like, yeah, try some of this. I made him. Like, he didn't say there was some marijuana even in.
Usually he says. I saw Joey give some to Alex Jones once, give some cookie to him or something, and Alex was like, wait, what's in this cookie? And Joey's like, put it in your fucking mouth. Like Jesus. You know goddamn well what it is. I gave you a cookie, you fucking eat it. So what happened?
I got fucking stuck in garage for like 8-9 hours, and I had to wait until...
Just couldn't move. In what garage?
Brea Improv, across the street, the garage.
Oh, yeah. You just couldn't move? You just got stuck in your car there?
I drove like a little bit, and I realized I'm going to run over someone.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
I've gotten that. When he's giving me some of the banana bread, just muffins, and I eat 2 because they're so small, and then I'm on Laurel Canyon, like on the way home, and I'm like, I know I'm only like a couple minutes from home, but I should pull over for a while because this is too much now. Normally, pot's totally fine to drive on. Keeps you focused. But, like, with that stuff, it's way too much.
So every time he offers me shit now, I just don't do it. I don't take it? You don't trust him. And he's like, bro, I didn't put anything in it, but I can't afford.
Yeah. You can't afford to have that situation again. That's like the worst. When you have no idea how high you're getting. I got those spins on a plane once, sitting next to Rogan. I thought I was going to die. Wow, you're surrounded by smoke. You smoke weird. You smoke like an Asian. Okay, forget all that. So you graduate college. I'm going to pause it for a second.
I'm good.
I love that. I'm good. You graduate college. Tana gets raided for, this is in Seattle.
No. Tanner got raided like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But, you go back 15 years ago, he was working at a shop. And
At a sex shop.
one of my aunt, she didn't have any money, so she had a headache all the time, so she was taking a lot of aspirin.
Yeah.
We found out later on she had a brain tumor, and because she didn't have insurance, so...
She was trying to treat her brain tumor with aspirin?
No, we didn't know she had a brain tumor.
Oh, she didn't know.
She just thought she had a headache, so
Okay.
she kept taking aspirin, so...
Because she couldn't afford to go to the doctor.
She didn't have insurance. So that made me really feel bad, so I need to provide for the family. And Tanner told me how much money in the porn back then. It's just obnoxious amount of money.
Yeah.
So I thought...
Yeah, with all this, like, now, like, with like, all the internet free websites, it's like, oh, they're losing all this money. It's like, oh, yeah,
those stores that...
millions instead of hundreds of millions.
Those stores are not making any more money, but...
They're still open?
So I figure I could open one of those shop, but before I do that, I should work a couple of those stores and have experience. That's how I got into the business.
Oh, okay.
So I did that for a few years, but in around 2003, I got tired of living in Washington State. I decided to move down here.
They smoke pot there.
Yeah. And you want to go Vancouver, Canada, you could smoke out in the street. They don't care.
See, I don't
The cops will tell you, hey, what are you doing? Just go down the alley and smoke.
San Francisco don't care. San Francisco, you get public parks during the day. Public parks and their kids don't. You want some more of this?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I thought you were. Yeah. So okay. So then you decided to work at one of these shops.
I did it for 3 years and
Made cash. Made money.
They were all right. When I worked in Bellevue, Washington, where all the Microsoft money, all those Microsoft perverts.
They had cash.
Oh my God!
They had more money than they knew what to do with. They're suddenly millionaires.
When I used to work for Taboo Video.
Taboo Video. Okay, I met you at Evil Angel, I think.
Taboo Video store.
Oh, okay.
Up in Washington.
Taboo Video. I like that. That's a good name. Yeah.
Bill Gates came in and bought stuff. This is
really
like mid-90s, yeah.
Wow.
And
why would that be wow? Of course he's
of course.
He's a guy.
So, people like that spend a lot of money in the area I was living. So
Yeah.
it was a pretty good living. But I got tired of living in Washington State, decided to move here. And I went to one of the porn conventions in 2003. Evil Angel, the company that I used to work for,
Yeah.
had a sign. They're looking for DVD producer. I don't even know what that means.
DVD producers. Okay, what does that mean?
It's a fancy way of saying I just sit down, put a chapter point throughout the movie, so that it would be convenient for the masturbators to master certain
Okay.
part. It has nothing to do with storylines at all.
Oh, okay.
Girl walks in,
now
chapter
anal
point.
starts.
Beginning of blowjob, chapter point.
Okay.
Penetration, anal.
All chapter points.
Chapter points. So my job is to think like a pervert, unlike Hollywood movies.
I want to get to the part where the second guy comes in. It's like, well, we have a chapter point for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I did that for 9 years.
Yeah. 9 years. And then, okay. So you're pretty much just watching porn all day.
8 to 10 hours, yeah.
8 to 10 hours a day
Yeah.
for Evil Angel.
Yeah.
And you worked for them the whole time?
Yeah, the 9 years, yeah.
Okay. Wow. First of all, how long did it take to lose its luster? Of like, I'm watching porn. Like, you got boners when you'd watch the stuff, right? For a little while.
In the beginning, sure, but you know what really runs for me is when I meet the girl and become friend with her, I can't even watch that scene anymore.
Really?
I can't.
I remember meeting Belladonna. Mm-hmm. You knew
one of our
this.
directors, yeah. One of the all-time greats.
Yeah. One of the all-time greats. That's exactly right. And And we're doing an auction. Me and Brody were doing this auction at
Right.
Steve Agee where they were raising money for that AIDS test that they all have to do.
Yeah.
She was like, "Who do you want to auction off? Me or I forget her super hot friend, or Joanna Angel, or Sasha Grey, or somebody?" I was like, "I don't know. I mean, I wrote some jokes for like 4 of you." And she goes, well, "Who's the last one you beat off to?" And I was like, "Oh, I guess Joanna Angel." And she's like, "All right, we'll do that one."
Wait, what did you pick her? Because she's Jewish?
No, just because I had some good jokes.
Oh, okay.
I actually had a weird thing. Is once I know some girl, it's like I feel weird about watching the porns.
Well, that's the same thing. Yeah.
But then I got to some point with like Jaden James when I tried to bone her and she was like, "Nah." Then I was like, "Oh, well, then I'm watching your porns. Then I'm gonna masturbate. I'm gonna fuck you one way or the other, either in my mind tonight or at your place."
because I think a lot of times girls pretend to be slutty.
They're not pretending. They're fucking guys. They're doing it.
It's a performance art more, you know.
Yeah. That's what Tripley always says, that they're not as into it.
But very few, like Belladonna, is a fucking not a performer. She's just really into fucking.
Really?
She's great at it. One of the all-time great.
She's great at it.
All-time great, and you know, she's a real deal.
It comes off natural with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she's done now.
No, she's still directing.
Just directing though, but done acting.
I'm sure she does it. I mean, you know, I haven't worked in 6 months, so I don't know what she's been doing the last 6 months, but
Yeah.
she's so good at it. And if she's not in a movie,
Yeah.
I don't think they sell as much.
No.
She has
Her
no
name is that she's in it.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's
even
like-
she's not fucking. The fact that she's like talking to girls, that'll even do it.
Oh, really? Just
her
interviewing
fan
them.
base is just massive.
Yeah, she was showing me. Her and her husband were showing me the
Aiden, yeah.
Yeah, with like the contest people would have, and people would write in and submit, like, "I'd love to be one of your pornos. I think you're awesome."
Yeah.
Belladonna and all these things. It's like, oh my God, they have like this fan base.
Big
People will do
time.
anything. They showed me this video of this dude. He was so awesome. Real tiny dick with a tank top on, and just sort of like, you didn't realize the whole time he was masturbating and he's talking about how he wants to be dominated and all this stuff, and it's like pans away after like 5 minutes. He's just jerking off his tiny dick. It was just like, oh, this is awesome. This is awesome.
I don't remember
stuff.
that.
I don't know if they put it out. It was just submission to them, to their website.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. This is years and years ago. Well, just years, I guess. That's the same as years and years.
She's similar in that, like, you know how
She's shockingly cool, by the way.
she's very cool. You know, you doing podcasts, you talk to fans. Fan feels like they know you. They have a
Yeah,
connection
she
with
was
you.
doing a podcast before anybody.
She was in that too. I think she stopped a while
Yeah,
ago.
they stopped. But like they were doing it before anybody. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's important. I think these days, you know, you have to do two things. You
gotta dance, right?
You do podcasts and things like that where the fan feel like
They're connecting with
they're
you.
part of their life. You know what I mean?
And then you can beat off to them better.
Right.
Wow.
And dancing.
Wow. Yeah, feature dancing.
But the thing that they're doing now, which is very clever, they're making these superhero, nerdy porn. You know, they say it's like
There's always like murder movies.
they'll say like this ain't the Twilight series, so they'll have girls that look like the character from Twilight. So what happened? These nerdy guys or nerdy girls will buy 2 movies of each. One of them in plastic cover, so it's collectible. Other one they'll watch.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know what I mean? It's
Really?
it's a really clever way of
Wow. Yeah,
like
way to go.
they're expanding their fan base by going after people who are not traditionally porn fans.
Yeah.
But if you do anything with Star Wars, they don't give a shit. There's certain
taking it. They're
Star
getting
Wars fan will buy anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, on Twilight and everything.
Limited? It's limited? Only 20,000 of these?
Yeah, they will buy it. So that's what I noticed. That a lot of tons of parody stuff. You know.
Oh, yeah. My friend Thomas Ward was in the Cosby Show parody.
Oh, I know him. I've seen him around.
Yeah, he didn't do the porn. He was just like in it setting up scenes and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But he did a great Bill Cosby. And
I've seen him in like a couple of those porn things that he was walking around.
Really?
Yeah.
At the
I never talked to
conventions?
him.
Yeah, and then Jason Washington. Do you remember him?
I remember him.
He used to work the phones at the Comedy Store on Sundays. He was the last one. He just worked all day Sunday, so he get his 2 shifts straight in, and they could do the Sunday open mic.
Right.
And he got into porn for a while.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know
He said
that.
he was back to stand up like a year ago. So I'm back to stand up, and I want to be like, dude, nobody gets back to stand up after 7 years. Stop it. Stop.
Oh, he's been away that long?
Oh, it was a while. Yeah, but he was doing porn. I saw him on the train once out here on the subway coming from Staples Center or something, and he had a couple girls with him, and they looked like, middle-level porn stars. Not like doing well porn stars, but like the type that they shoot every day in the Valley.
That's fucking rough, man. I mean,
Yeah, he was a dude porn star, but then he started dressing better. He also had like 25 kids. That guy never pulled out. Never learned his lesson either. Kept leaving it in there. Having another kid with another girl.
I don't know which is worse, being mid-level opening person for the rest of their career or being mid-level porn guy.
Oh, yeah. At least like the opening is like you feel bad about where you are in life, but you're like, but this is pretty fun though.
Yeah.
At its base, this is fun.
But if you're a mid-level guy, you might be doing a bunch
not
of
making
gangbang stuff with 30 guys in there, and if you don't pop, you don't get to 50.
You ever seen have you ever seen videos of girls crying?
Sure.
You have. And they're like, we're using it.
I don't remember.
Not like fetish crying, but like someone broke down during a scene.
I've seen those. I don't know. I think we might have a couple, but that is definitely a fetish. There's some guys
like that.
Some guys are definitely. Oh yeah,
I used
for
to
sure.
joke about it, but one of my favorite porn is, and I don't know if you can find it anymore, but it was a 2-on-2. I don't know what they call those. Is there a term for that? Two people fucking in one place, two people fucking in another place? Like, let's say somebody was fucking on that couch, and then two people are fucking on this couch.
It's like a couple thing, right?
Okay, maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, just a few people are fucking. Orgy, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, this guy was fucking this girl on a couch. So it'd be couch like this, sitting like you're sitting, regular style on the
Right.
couch, and the guy was in front of her, like on his knees, fucking her.
Right.
She was leaned down a little bit. This other guy was fucking this girl on a piano. The joke was because it was an artsy scene, I guess. But
Is this an old movie?
this was like 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Oh, never mind.
6, maybe 5.
Yeah.
I don't know. But least 5. But then the guy finishes. The guy on the piano is like ready to come, so he pulls out and stops, and then he goes up behind the couch, and then he like jerks. They have to jerk it for like another 2 seconds, and they jerked it onto her hair. She was getting fucked on the couch by this other guy. This other dude came. It's like the space behind here. Come up behind you, jerked onto your hair, and she got so fucking angry.
Was that a black girl? Light-skinned black girl?
It would have had to been light skin. She got so fucking angry because I don't remember her being black. So she might have had to been light skin. I remember the dark hair.
Very few times when I hear girls get angry, it just seemed like every
She
time.
was like, "What the fuck?" She was so mad. He came in her hair.
I've never seen a white girl get angry, but
I thought it was a white girl.
But
and she stopped the dude from that was actually fucking her. She
Yeah.
pulled him out, fucking slapped at that guy,
Yeah.
and stormed off. And I say it's like I've never masturbated more to any scene because that looked like real emotion to me.
I've probably seen maybe a dozen movies where black women get just
Gets
fucking angry.
Wow.
They said they'd rather get a hit in the face,
Yeah.
but not their hair.
Not their hair because they
Not
worked
in
on
their-
it and they
yeah.
relaxed it. Remember that in Friday with the sister sleeping like with her hand,
Yes.
like sleeping on her stomach with her head propped up on her
Right.
side because she don't want to mess up her hair. She keeps drifting off. She has to catch herself and hold herself by her chin so she didn't fuck up her hair by sleeping.
I saw Chris.
Don't fuck with a black. Oh wait, yeah, that
Chris Rock's
movie.
documentary, and like it's very important to black women. It was really interesting, and
The amazing thing is, black women. The reality is, all your hair is disgusting to all white people. Except the biggest freaks. So don't even bother. Just go natural. Just go Afro.
come on,
puffs.
they're not doing it for
Janet
white guys.
Jackson, maybe. That kind of hair. If you have ponytail black hair, that's okay. But if you have black hair, like forget it. Just forget it. Do Erykah Badu style and just fucking commit to that shit. So, okay, let me ask you a question. When you said you had to stop masturbating to them or getting turned on when you knew the girls, one, well, let's get back to this one. But one, how'd you even get to know the girls? Like, how'd you come in contact with them? But two, why did you have to stop masturbating to them? Because you felt like, oh, I know these people now. It seems like
because a lot of the porn is fantasy, right? Like if
Yeah.
you know the girl, like I know you, I've spent time with you. You're not even slutty at all. In fact, you're not even into sex, and it's
really?
it's just a
These girls
phony.
aren't even into sex.
No, I mean they want they. I know. Most. I think this is not even porn thing. I think a lot of women love being desired.
Oh yeah,
They love that. They like the idea of a guys want to fuck them. So it's a big turn on. So I think there's a lot of girls in porn. They do it because it's very flattering to see. Well, not to see them, but to know that there's thousands of guys will be watching this movie and jacking off to her.
yeah.
It's a big turn on for her. I mean, at least that's what I think. Because I could usually watch.
I could see that. Where it's like a lot of guys are gonna be watching me and desiring me. Yeah, I get that.
They just want attention, and a lot of time. Yeah, and a lot of time I'll be watching a scene like, oh my god, it's just like she's not into it. I can't even.
When a girl's not into the sex, when you see it, it's like, come on, get into this more. Like, do your part as an actress. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
sell it to me a little.
They're terrible. So.
I like when a girl's. Kevin Christie pointed this out to me. Right when a girl gets penetrated in the butt, like anally. Like there's this one shot of like this guy doing it to her, but like through legs or something, and you can see her face over whatever, and you just see as the cock goes into the asshole, she just kind of like goes, like just like oh that hurt, you know?
Yeah.
Just that little bit of like that's real. I know now. Okay, I'm good to beat off. I just got my one definitely real moment. And I can jerk to this.
And too many women say they love anal sex in porn. I just don't believe it.
They love too many girls. Well, Belladonna told me that.
No, I believe.
She likes anal over vaginal. She'd rather have anal.
But a lot of the girls that I know, they do it because they get more money doing it.
You get more money doing anal?
Doing anal, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I thought you got less.
No.
You get more money for anal.
No,
that makes sense, by the way. It makes sense you get more. It's going deeper. You ever meet like a Catholic girl who only wants to fuck in the butt but won't fuck in the vagina?
I haven't had that experience, but that sounds like a pretty good loophole.
I knew a girl who did that. I wasn't with her, but her boyfriend. They did butt sex for a while, and so she was like, "All right, let's just do it."
And do they think they're still virgin because of that?
Yeah, I guess they do. I guess I was told on my virginity, but it's like, hey, lady, that's way deeper than fucking vagina.
It's one of those religious rules that has unintended consequence. It's actually hurting the girl more during anal sex.
Hey, God, you're making this girl get fucked in the asshole, and she's fucking 17.
Jesus Christ.
So wait, how would you come in contact with these girls? Would they all be that you'd be editing right where they'd be shooting?
No. Sometimes they
have offices where people would punch in.
That office I used to work at least first 4.5, 5 years. A lot of girls were coming all the time. There's so much work back then.
I imagine it like that scene in the beginning of the Flintstones when they set it up, where he's got to like pull the bird's tail, so she goes, ah! And that's like the sign that everyone's allowed out of work. And then everyone to get chomped by a giant turtle. Their time cards. Yes. That means they punched out. I imagine that, but with hot naked chicks. And as soon as they punch in, they just start writing a Sibian.
Early 2000, man, it was fun working there because these girls, and especially...
Were they just walking around naked?
No. They just come to an office and they will take pictures and they want to give it to directors and work. And every once in a while, I get the chance to do that. Like, girls will come in and I'll take... My friend Jeff Martin was in charge of doing that.
Yeah.
But sometimes he's not there. I will fucking take pictures, naked pictures of the girls. And
Did you ever hook up with any of them?
Not at the workplace. No.
Okay. Not like you're like.
I would like to, but they weren't interested.
Those casting couch videos, is those based on real? I know they're not real, but are those based on reality? Where it's like, well, let's see.
The bone with the Pierre Woodman.
What?
Pierre Woodman.
Who's that?
He used to do the couching couch.
Okay.
For Hustler. I think a lot of it's pretty legit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The reason why he started filming them because it had something to do with Mike Tyson case. Because he got really paranoid. Like he didn't want to put himself in he said she said situation where a girl accused. So you film
it, and then people are like, oh, these are hot.
So
like,
they did an interview, and that way they have a proof.
And that way he said, like, oh, clearly you say you want to do this, and
you're going to
talk to you about this.
Yeah. So that gave him a bit of a protection.
Oh. That's always like slow. I like how they go slowly. It's like, oh, you look like they talk about what you want to do, what you're willing to do. And they're like, oh, you look like you have a nice rack. Can I see your boobs? And she'll be like, okay. And they take off their just shirt and they just sort of stand there for a while and get judged.
Because some girls come in with then having no intention doing it, but that guy Pierre used to be a cop in France, so he's good at
talking them into it,
investigation, and finding the weak spot and a way to flatter her.
And so he would have to fuck them in order to know that they would be good to fuck.
Yeah. So he was really good, and I actually like those casting stuff, especially ones that seem real. I'm sure not every one of them is legit.
They're just producing them, but it seems like the same guy. And also, the guy's face would get blurred out a lot because he's like, I don't want to be in this.
Oh,
that made it seem more real to me.
I think that might be a different guy because Pierre always show his face.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and he'd always be real complimentary to the girls too. He'd be like, "Nice, I like that. You'd suck a good dick."
I think it makes sense too because if you want to have a good scene, you want to ask stuff that she want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to force her to do something she doesn't want to do
because if she's into it more, it'll be a better scene.
Absolutely. So like anytime you see a movie where the girl's doing gaping, I have to give a lot of credit to the director because he was able to make her comfortable.
Yeah, that's why it gets so wide.
Well, I mean, you have to be really relaxed, and you can't be around a very stressful, screaming director.
Right. Hold on, your fucking butthole. That would probably be anti.
Yes.
Wouldn't really help at all. So you start working for this. You're producing. You're meeting these girls. You're hooked up
during the conventions. But I was mainly talking to them because that's how I actually met Joe Rogan in 2003, Man Show. Brody,
really?
Brody brought me over there.
Maybe I was with Brody that first time.
That probably made a lot of sense, actually.
I don't think he hung out with me then. I think he thought of me then as an underling. So I don't think we would have gone to Canner's. I remember back then, Brody was like, "Know your place, Brody."
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I've been on TV, you haven't. You don't make jokes at my expense.
Wow.
It was one of those, we were all like, what? What are you talking about? No, we're all comics.
Yes.
We're all just going to joke. It's not funny. You got to know your place. He's like, know your audience. And I'm like, my audience is the 5 people who are here, and they all laugh. So why would I not?
He hasn't
No,
changed.
I would never do that to Zach.
Why?
Have you seen his show, by the way?
No.
The HBO Go show?
How
it's
is
out
it?
now. I don't know. I haven't downloaded it. Nobody's put it on torrents yet. I don't have fucking cable.
I don't have cable. I'm curious about it.
Somebody's got to put it on torrent.
He tried to get Tana on it, but Tana refused.
Oh, yeah. He tried to make up with Tana or have a talk with him.
Tana fucking refused to do it.
Apparently, it's really good. It's like a documentary that followed him around for a while. It's an hour and a half, where they cut into 6 15-minute episodes, and they're all available on HBO Go. But it's supposed to get real deep in points.
But how does that work? Like,
I mean, it walks through his fucking breakdown, too. They were filming, and then he had his breakdown during that.
So if he get enough traction, they're going to make it on regular
I think
HBO.
if it gets popular, they would air on HBO. But the reality is, people have access to it, and that's important.
I see.
It's great. And if it's popular enough, they might air on HBO, or they might order more or something. But, I mean, they're not going to get another fucking breakdown.
No.
That's like golden,
You need Tana and fucking Brody.
So Tana wouldn't do it, huh? Tana wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get in detail because I'm friend with both of them.
Didn't they have the biggest fight right before like the breakup, or was that something else?
I think they had a big fight before Brody had that thing.
That was him going through the meltdown, though, wasn't it?
No, because I don't. Who?
You know what I mean? Wasn't that because he just hadn't been committed to the hospital yet, but like he should have been already? When people get committed to the insane asylum, you're never like, and you're insane now. You've already been walking around insane for a while.
I think you're right. Now that I think about it,
that's when he told Jarrett Weaver to go fuck himself. Like, it wasn't
really?
Jarrett Weaver. It was somebody. It was some Major League Baseball pitcher, like an all-star. And we're like, Brody, you can't tell these people to go fuck themselves. No, bad energy. You can't, Brody. And that was someone who needed to be on meds and wasn't. So I bet that's what he went through with Tana. I bet it was during that time.
Do you think if he wasn't Jewish, you think he would have given a chance?
Given who a chance?
I mean, I just couldn't believe he got away with. I mean, I like Brody. He's a good friend, but I thought that was a career suicide.
Some people get second chances.
Wow.
And you know what? He was always about positive energy and stuff.
Yeah.
People like that.
I guess you're right. I think it was a medical thing, and people understand. Okay.
And mental disorders have become popular enough in Hollywood. People are like not that thrown by it. Everyone's got it, or got a friend that's got it, or has got a brother that had it, or a friend's brother. It's like now people are like, yeah, I get it. You just went through something. Are you back on pills? Are you back better again?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good for you. Yeah, sure, we'll have you again. I've known other people that have that had to take leave of absences off, like Kimmel writing and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll have you back in a year when you're ready, or whenever it is. And they come back, and it's okay.
I gotta fucking put a change in that card.
Oh, it's time? Okay, I'll pause it. Maybe we should pick this episode up. I guess I would do that here if I was going to break this episode up. You want to do part 1 and part 2?
Yeah, you want to stop it for a second?
Yeah. Okay, you keep going. I'm going to talk about my sponsor for a second. Yeah, go put change in your car.
No, but can I talk to you quickly? Something
Oh, off? Yeah, I guess now's a good time. To do sponsorship, everybody. We'll be back with Yoshi in a second. But please visit my sponsor. I'm trying to think who this would. Maybe Amazon. If you're going to buy porn, any of Evil Angel's pornos, I don't know if they're available on Amazon, but whatever the fuck you buy, please go to my website first. Just go to arithegreat.com, and there's a banner on the right-hand side for Amazon, and then one right under that for Amazon Canada. And then if you go through there, it takes you to Amazon. Just do your regular shopping, and then give me cash back. Doesn't cost you anything, but just try to remember to do that, and so I'll have money to give my guests drugs and stuff and get them high and loose. Anyway, I appreciate it. But that's it. We're going to come back, I guess, tomorrow or the next day and do the rest of this episode. He's got some really fucking good stories coming up about underage shit. And some, all right. So just tune into the next part.